watching KWQC TV, making a difference in the Quad Cities. Live from the Quad Cities, with Morgan Otier and Kyle Keel, this is Quad Cities Live.
Today on QCL, supporting Black-owned businesses with an expo coming up this weekend, hosted by the QC Empowerment Network. We'll learn more about who's taken part.
Plus, Mystery of the Mayan Medallion. We'll get a preview of the newest traveling exhibit making its way to the Puppet Museum.
And prepare yourself for the biggest party all winter, the Have Life Martini Shake-Off, now in its 16th year. We'll learn more about the nearly 24 establishments taking part. You're watching Quad Cities Live on this Tuesday, February 18th. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Morgan Otier alongside my co-host Kyle Keel. Well, this week, spend an evening sipping on the area's finest martinis while supporting a great cause. We're, of course, talking about the 2025 Martini Shake-Off. It's set for this week.
Yeah, it's a big evening, and Kim Guy is the president of the Have Life Foundation, and Jonna Chesney is the owner of several QCA bars, including the newly opened Candy's Back Bar. Ladies, thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy schedules. Busy week for you guys to be here on Quad Cities Live.
Yeah. Thank you for having us.
Yes, of course. So, Kim, obviously, this is a very popular event, has been for coming up on 16 years, but it's a very important foundation that this supports. So talk a little bit more about the Have Life Foundation.
Yeah, real briefly, the Have Life Foundation was founded in memory of Hunter Aaron Bondurant, our founder's son, who passed away just before his 14th birthday. And Hunter was very involved in sports and music and arts, and they wanted to do something to honor his memory. So they started the foundation, really with the signature event has grown from this. So basically all the money that we raise from our different fundraising events throughout the year go to support local youth age 10 to 15 and give them participation scholarships in music, art, and sports, especially for those people, those children who aren't able to afford it on their own.
Yeah, and one thing that I think is really cool that you always talk about, it's kind of like your motto is preventing lost potential, and I think that's such a really great way of putting it. You're taking these young people. I think it's between ages like 10 and 15 years old. You're taking these young people and you're providing these opportunities that they may not otherwise have. And this is kind of a way for the community to have fun and get involved in that. So, Jonna, tell us a little bit about your various businesses and establishments here in the Quad Cities. All of them very popular. Most notably, the newest one, which Kyle mentioned, Candy's Back Bar. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so we opened up in November of this year. We're really excited to be a part of the Martini Shake-Off, just because we're a new business in the Quad Cities. We want to showcase who we are. Yep, and if you've ever been to Candy's, it's obviously really funky, fun, cool vibes. It's been a very popular place since we've opened. So busy weekends, busy nights. It's been a lot of fun.
That's exactly what you want.
Yes, absolutely.
Very cool. I have to say, with all your different establishments, they all do have kind of their own identity, which I think can be so hard to do once you start opening up multiple places, but you guys have done it so naturally, so that's great.
Thank you.
And you're going to be making a martini for Kyle and I here today.
Yes. This is a martini that's featured on our menu at Candy's. It's the Candy Appletini. It's also going to be our fruit category for the evening on Thursday. So there's 4 categories that every venue does. There's fruity, there's dessert, there's traditional, and then bartender's choice. And obviously all the people coming aren't getting full-size martinis. They're getting sample sizes.
We'd have some problems.
So you can try some different ones.
That'd be tricky.
So this is our apple martini.
All right.
Awesome.
This is exciting. So you're going to make that for us. And Morgan's actually going to be a judge at the Martini Shake-Off. So that's going to be very exciting for Morgan to try all these martinis.
It's going to be fun, and they're all really good. And like Jonna said, don't worry about me. They're so small. You only need to take a little sip. Like I'll be okay. Anybody who is concerned. So Kim, obviously this is in its 16th year. Talk a little bit about what people can expect, regardless of if they've been going for the last 15 or if this is their first one. You always kind of walk into something really special.
So every year we do try to pick a theme or something themed to decorate around. And this year's theme is going to be a yacht club nautical theme.
That's fun.
And so it's going to be really cool. It's going to be really different from last year's Mardi Gras theme, which is fun. We have a great band out of Chicago called Afternoon Delight. They're a yacht rock band. There'll be wonderful food. So of course, with the nice tasting of martinis, 23 local venues are participating.
23, wow.
Yeah, and then we have a really great silent auction that takes place center of the room, and we are so lucky to have generous businesses throughout the Quad Cities support us with this. So.
Yeah, that's great. And this is going to happen at the River Center, and you were saying you're getting the decorations ready.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean,
It's
it's crunch
beautiful.
time. So, Jonna, you've participated in the Martini Shake-Off in years
several
past.
years.
So, how do you prepare for a night like that?
It's a lot of work, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie, but I think it's really important to be involved in things like this in the Quad Cities
Absolutely.
to support, kids that are in need, and so I'm just proud and excited to be a part of it. So.
Yeah, it's really cool. And, there's lots of establishments. I think, Kim, you mentioned 23
Yes.
of them that are taking part. And it's exciting for all of them as well. I mean, I know there are establishments that win certain categories,
Yeah.
year after year. But it's a cool thing to, like, boast about when you are, especially with that People's Choice Award. I mean,
Yes.
as a judge, of course, like, we want to be like, oh, yeah, we helped pick this one. But I
Yeah.
think when you have, like, the general population of the Quad Cities that's showing up for the event and they choose a certain winner.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really big for a business. It's something that they can celebrate until the next year.
Yeah, and we do really nice framed awards in hopes that the businesses that do win put them on their wall to
Yeah.
kind of showcase it. And then we always encourage them afterwards, make sure to have those wonderful martinis everybody tasted, put them on your menu. We want to drive business to them, not
Yeah.
just through the Martini Shake-Off, but after, because we
Sure.
are so thankful for their support, because really without them, we can't do it.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
each category or each prize goes to each category,
Oh, yes.
correct?
Yes.
All the different
Yeah,
desserts.
so each one of those 4 categories, the judges judging takes place before that Jonna mentioned, and then the People's Choice, the actual everybody that comes in the event gets a ticket to vote on who
Okay.
they believe should win, and then Best Shaker Space. We have a design firm that helps with that. So yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, everything's decorated so beautifully.
Yeah, let's
Okay,
also-
are we going
should
to
we
try
try?
this?
Let's do it.
I don't think we can cheers today.
No.
Not with a martini.
Ooh,
Very good.
eating the apple for sure.
Yes, this is.
The apple's great.
Okay, and it's like a, like a
I was going to say the sugar
Yeah,
rim.
like a red
I know, it's
sugar
probably
rim.
all over my lips. Zoom in.
Very good.
Sure,
And that
that's
one
a
you
look.
can find on our menu all year round.
Oh my
so.
gosh.
Perfect. Is this the one in the fruity category, or is
Yes,
that going to be
that's
something
that's our
different?
fruit category.
Well, this will be a good contender then.
Yeah, I hope
very
so.
good.
Absolutely. And I'm not judging that category, so if there's no
okay.
under the table
That's
stuff.
right.
There you go. There you go. That's right. She's not.
I did want to ask you, you already mentioned the silent auctions, which, as I said, I've gone a couple of years. And the stuff that you guys have up for silent auction is truly, truly incredible. How can people bid on that? Because from what I was reading, they can actually go online right now
Right
and start
now,
checking
yes.
stuff out.
If you go to our Facebook page or our website, we do have the link to register to bid now.
nice.
And it's through a mobile bidding service, Qtego. And once you get on there, you'll see that link. All you do is get on, register. All the items will pop up, and you'll see all the descriptions, and you can start bidding actually today.
That's amazing, and it makes it easier night of too. Even if you
Yes.
don't want to bid today, at least you're like ready, set to go.
Takes the pressure off, that's
Yeah.
for sure. So also, obviously all the proceeds go to the greater cause, but you've got some exciting announcements of some of where that money's going that I know.
Yeah, almost $85,000 is granted out on Thursday night, and we will have the 16 different organizations and schools there. And it's really nice because if you're coming as a guest, you're going to see what your ticket price is going for. You're going to see these local organizations that you're helping and
Yeah.
kids that we're helping. So without the generosity of the public and people coming, it wouldn't be happening. So it's
really
exciting.
special.
It's great to see.
Yeah.
It's great to see. Well, the 2025 Martini Shake-Off is coming up this Thursday, February 20th, from 5:30 to 9 p.m. at the River Center in downtown Davenport. Online ticket sales are closed, but you can still purchase your tickets at the door to taste all of these delicious
I
martinis.
know, this was really good, Jonna.
Kim and
Thank
Jonna,
you.
thank you
You're
so much.
welcome.
Yes,
Thank
for having
you.
us.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Still to come on Quad Cities Live, the QC Empowerment Network is hosting its Black Business Expo this weekend with a variety of opportunities all under one roof. We're getting the details next.
You're watching Quad Cities Live.
The QC Empowerment Network is a collaborative initiative created for and by Black Quad citizens, and the organization's flagship event is actually happening this weekend. Joining me now is Tracy Singleton. Tracy, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. So the Black Business Expo, it is set for this Saturday. So what can you tell us about the event? It's been going on for a while now, right?
It's
It'll
our
be a
10th
decade.
year. Yes, a whole decade has
Congratulations.
gone by, and it's the same thing, but every year we add a different element to it. And with this year being our 10th year, we did want it to be very special because we have some businesses that participated in year 1 that are still here.
That's awesome.
And so for me, that shows that they're sustainable, there's longevity, and that what we're doing is helping them. And you have these stories that come out where maybe someone wasn't expecting to meet a customer, but now that has turned into one of their biggest profits that they've had because of this customer that they've met. And then you also see this cross collaboration where the different businesses are networking with each other and they figure out a way to work together to make something happen.
Yeah, I think that's such a big part of it, and it's something that I think we see more and more, and maybe it's just here in the Quad Cities. Maybe it happens in other communities all over, but there's such a collaboration ideology among small businesses here. And so, yeah, this is a really great opportunity, for businesses to do that. Aside from, businesses and showing their longevity over these 10 years, what other types of growth have you witnessed from this event since its, very first inaugural year?
I'm seeing, for one, obviously more businesses. Well, the first year, we had maybe 20 businesses there, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's 20 Black-owned businesses in the Quad Cities. And just check registration, and we're at almost 60 right now. And so I think for me, that's the biggest thing that we see, but also the participation from the community as well. We moved around the first few years, but we landed on the mall year 4 at South Park, and we've been there ever since. And so you do have people who are intentionally coming to the Black Expo, but then you also get that cross traffic of people who were just at the mall, and they're like, oh, what's going on over here? And then they come over, and now they have a new favorite business.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like something extra that they weren't expecting to find at the mall. And they're like, well, we have all of this going on. So you said roughly 60 businesses are participating in this 10th year, which is amazing.
Yes.
Great. So talk about the various types of businesses that we may find if we show up.
I always say you find a little bit of everything because you do have your businesses, and some do have brick and mortar, but most are working out of their home or working out of a space. And so we have caterers, so there'll be food. We have bakers, we have candles, we have clothing. We do have a lot of resources that are putting out good information about the work that they're doing in the community. And we have a lot of new businesses here. Those first few registrations that were coming in were new businesses. We have someone that sells medical scrubs. And so it's just those different type of businesses. And we really want to push the narrative that a Black-owned business doesn't mean that they just have a Black customer. They just happen to be a business owner that's Black, that has a business, right? And so that's part of why we really push the expo, because, we'll get challenged a little bit. Oh, we don't see color, we just shop with the best businesses. But you have to know who all the businesses are before you can make that informed decision. So really what we're trying to do is let people know what businesses are available in the Quad Cities, how you can become a consumer or customer, how you can contact them and build that relationship.
Absolutely, and that kind of goes hand in hand with a question that I wanted to ask you, which is why is it so important for the community, the entire community, to support these businesses?
For one, like I said, most of them don't have a brick and mortar, most of them. And so word of mouth is the best form of advertising, but you got to get that word in the mouth in order for it to get out, right? So it's important. We have always understood that with the Empowerment Network and working with the Black businesses specifically, that we do have to be an advocate for them. We have to create space for them. And so not only do we have the expo, but then during the summer we have our open air markets, we have Juneteenth. So we create these spaces for them to be able to do work in a greater community versus just where they're at, But more importantly, we support them, and that, I think, is what most businesses need in order to take those risks, in order to say, okay, I'm going to go to the next level. They need a community behind them that supports them, and so that's what we are trying to make sure that we provide.
Absolutely. And along with that, you talked a little bit about resources. Typically, there's also like a health fair and some live entertainment as well. So this is really like a fun event.
It is a very fun event. It goes by very fast. It's
Yeah.
from 1 to 4. So if you come, we have one lady that her food is so good and she sells out within an hour.
Okay.
And so if
Get
you're
there
waiting
early.
to get there, you're not going to get it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, we want to make this an experience, not just an event. We want it to be an experience. So we do give the youth in our community an opportunity to showcase their talent. And we do have that health fair to address some of those disparities and put that knowledge out to people so that they understand that you can be an advocate for your health and get the care that they need.
Absolutely. And before we let you go, we've referenced it a couple of times, but the QC Empowerment Network, this organization that has done so much good. Can you tell us a little bit about that organization and its goals for people that aren't familiar?
Right. So we have been around for a little over
Yes.
10 years. And initially when we first came together as a community and started meeting, we were picking out different challenges that were taking place within the Black community. And we didn't want to step on toes or duplicate services, but we noticed that nothing was being done for the Black-owned businesses in our community. So that became our niche. Overall, as a whole, it is really just connecting the community. I always say if we can empower the Black community, we make for a greater Quad Cities at the end of the day. So that's really all that we're trying to do through our relationships, our resources, and our programming.
Yeah, absolutely. A great thing to support. So the Expo, the Black Business Expo, is celebrating 10 years this Saturday, February 22nd at South Park Mall in Moline. That event, as Tracy mentioned, runs from 1 to 4 p.m. And if you want to learn more about the QC Empowerment Network, be sure to follow along on the Facebook page. Lots of great updates there
Yes.
about different events. Tracy, once again, thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, no, thank you for having me. I
Yes,
appreciate
of course. Still to come on QCL, what's new at the Putnam Museum and Science Center. We'll take a look at the newest traveling exhibit called Mystery of the Mayan Medallion.
You're watching Quad Cities Live.
Solve a mystery with a new immersive exhibit at the Putnam Museum. It's a traveling exhibit called Mystery of the Mayan Medallion, and it's open now. Here with those details on that and much more, actually, is Scott Peak. Scott, welcome back.
Hi.
Hi, thanks for being here.
Absolutely. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, Mystery of the Mayan Medallion. This sounds fun.
Yeah.
It's, as we mentioned, it's a traveling exhibit, so it comes from the South, but this is a really popular one.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us about it.
So it's an archaeological team has mysteriously disappeared.
Okay.
They were searching for this jade medallion, and they left behind some clues
Okay.
for you, the visitor, to come and solve this mystery of this Mayan medallion.
I love this.
Yes.
This is, I love when we have these immersive exhibits because it's a chance to get the entire family involved.
Oh, yeah.
In learning about this stuff. And so let's talk a little bit about why it is so immersive, what we get to do and what we learn from that.
Yeah. So basically, you're using all of these Mayan ecological things, mathematical things, different things from the culture, and to solve different parts of this mystery to ultimately solve the entire thing. So rather than just a passive exhibit about Mayan culture, which would be interesting too.
Yes.
This kind of allows you to delve deeper into what they did and why they did it to solve these clues.
You learn by doing. It's very cool. You're going to be looking at symbols and decoding them.
Exactly.
You get to crawl through a tomb
Yes.
at some point.
Go
and
across the rickety bridge and go
That is-
into the observatory, and
Yeah.
there's a tomb and all sorts of things.
That is
Yeah.
great. So this will be a really fun one for the entire family. And as many of you know, you can also see movies at the Putnam on the giant screen, and kind of in conjunction with this exhibit, you guys have chosen a series of very popular films
Yes.
that you're showing on the screen. You're showing Indiana Jones movies.
Yes, the original 3.
I love it.
The next 3 Thursdays. So this Thursday is Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Okay.
And then it's obviously Temple of Doom and The Last Crusade.
The Last Crusade. Okay, yes. February 20th, February 27th, and March 6th. Do you have a favorite Indiana Jones of the original 3?
I don't know. I'm really partial to The Last Crusade.
Yes.
But it's been a long time since I've seen the Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
I always remember liking that as a kid. You know, kind of the riding the
I like that one too. The train roller coaster thing, and then you've got all like the animals and the There's a lot of
so
that was my favorite as a kid, but I'm with you too. Last Crusade is a good one.
Yeah.
I just have to know. I always have to know people's favorite Indiana Jones
Well,
movies?
sure.
It's like
yeah.
a legit question you have to ask friends.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are going to be going on. A good time to see those movies and get out of the cold. Now, despite the cold, we're talking a little bit about camps
Yes.
today. Summer camps for kids, which parents need to be thinking about signing the kids up for already. So if you haven't, look into it. But we want to start with some spring camps at the Putnam. So this
Yes.
is going to be available in March.
Yeah, so March 17th through 21st,
Okay.
Which is not everyone's spring break, but a lot of people's spring break.
Yeah.
We're offering day camps. You can do, there's two different ones. There's
Okay.
K through 2,
Okay.
and then 3 through 6. And you can choose if to do a full week of camp, or you can do just one day.
That's fun. That's great, especially if it is spring break. And, you know, parents, mom, dad, grandma, not everyone can always take those days off of work, as
yeah,
we all
exactly,
know.
exactly.
So this is a really fun thing for them to do. And some of the themes were really cool, which you just saw on your screen. There's Mayan mystery, which
Yep,
is really in
perfect.
keeping with
Tie-in
this.
with this one, yeah.
Wacky weather, also perfect because it's all we deal with year round.
Yes.
Plant party, cardboard creations, and much more to choose from. So you go on the website and check that out. But as we mentioned, summer camps are now open for signups. And the Putnam, I mean, all summer long really has a lot to offer for
Yeah.
kids. And those as well are split up by grades.
So it's the same split.
Okay.
The younger group, the K through 2, that's a half-day camp.
Okay.
You can sign up for both, but we just offer it as half-day because sometimes, you know, little ones
Yeah, it's
can't do
a
a
day
whole
is a day. Yeah.
Exactly. But we do offer some lunchtime supervision time there too. So if you want to turn it into a full-day camp for a young one, you can do that.
That's great.
And then the 3 through 6 group is an all-day camp.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you've brought back some popular
Yes.
themes with these
Yes.
camps as well. So talk about a few of those.
So we're bringing back one of our favorites is always the wizardry
Yes.
and magical beasts, and then the Camp Z, which is like a zombie survival camp.
Okay.
And last year we did Swifty Science. We're bringing that back.
How could you not?
Of course. And then this year we're adding some new ones. One that I'm particularly excited about is called Sugar Rush.
Okay.
And it's about science of candy making.
Oh, perfect.
So it's a little bit of candy, a little bit of science.
Yeah.
And then, of course, another one that I love as well is the Wicked Awesome Camp, which might be a nod to a specific movie that you may or may not have heard of.
Maybe, yeah. That'll be a popular one as well.
Yeah.
No, there's just so many really cool things, and you don't even realize how much, as a kid, I mean, that you are truly learning when you get to participate in one of these super fun camps. We want to talk a little bit about the adults now. So enough about the kids. There's a cool camp, if you will, happening this fall. An overseas trip to Greece with the Putnam.
Yes.
So this is something that people can still sign up for.
Yes, yes, we're still good to sign up for a couple months still.
Okay.
But the spots are filling up quickly, so I wanted to bring it up again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lovely camp.
Yeah. It's a grown-up camp.
Exactly. September 29th through October 11th. And it's the perfect combination because there's a land tour that's a few days of it, and then there's a cruise. So you're going through, you know, the Mediterranean, Aegean Sea,
different islands.
and you're going to all these different places and all the history.
Oh, yeah.
And we have all these opportunities for the people who are going to learn about that history before they go. So
Yes.
then when they go, they see those real things.
Yeah.
You know, so you get all that history leading up to it.
It means so much more once you get there with this
Yeah,
group of people.
exactly.
Yeah. And those can all be found on the website, those different times and those get-togethers. The first one happening on March 12th, which is kind of an introduction to Greek history and art, which of course, and artifacts, which
And that one
you'll be
might
seeing.
have a wine tasting and some food involved. Just
so you know.
Just so you know.
Just so you know. Okay, perfect. Well, thank you. If you want to learn more about what's happening at the Putnam or register for one of the camps we talked about today, whether it's the kids camp or the grown-up camp, just visit them on the web at putnam.org. Scott, thank you. Always lots to talk about when you're on the show. We
absolutely.
appreciate
Thank you.
Yes. Much more to come in our next half hour of QCL, including a workshop series at the Butterworth Education Center, showing homeowners how to improve their property maintenance skills. And later, year, Great River Brewery is marking the end of winter and the arrival of spring with a traditional German celebration. We'll learn more about this Friday's festival. And of course, it is a very frigid week with first alert days in effect for most of it. Meteorologist Kyle Keel will join us with how long the cold is expected to stick around next.
And now your first alert forecast with meteorologist Kyle Keel.
Well, we're living up to our name, giving you the first alert on these cold temperatures that we've been seeing all week long. In fact, this morning, likely the coldest as far as the air temperature goes. Check out these low temperatures, 18 degrees below zero there in Galena, 16 below in Clinton. It was 6 below in Moline, 11 below in Davenport. A balmy 4 below in Princeton, Illinois, as well as Galesburg, Kewanee, as in Burlington. But those wind chills were anywhere between 15 and almost 30 degrees below zero a little bit earlier this morning. Luckily, it's not going to be as chilly tonight, but hey, chilly enough, especially because temperatures right now only in the single digits, except for Princeton. We've got double digits at 10 degrees. It's 7 in Moline, Muscatine, and Clinton, 5 in Davenport, just 4 degrees above zero there in Dubuque with a wind chiller that feels like temperature of 12 degrees below zero. So yes, wind chills here will be anywhere from 15 to 20 degrees below zero tonight. Wind isn't going to be as gusty, but we're not the only ones dealing with the extreme cold. This light blue, dark blue shading, those are cold weather advisories as well as extreme cold warnings. So those go from Montana, the Dakotas, Minnesota, all the way down to the Gulf Coast of the United States. And notice this pink shading here, that's a winter storm warning. They go as far south as Oklahoma and Arkansas, where some areas could see more than a foot of snow. We're about 2 feet of snow below average here in the Quad Cities, so no snow on the way, but we have that cold weather advisory that does go until 10 o'clock on Wednesday. Likely that's going to be reissued for Wednesday night and Thursday as well, as we are still tracking those very cold temperatures. In fact, wind chills could be as low as 20 to 25 degrees below zero, especially as we head into the day on Thursday, at least in the morning hours. We do have an increase in those mid to high level clouds on our Everywhere camera network here this afternoon. A little sun peeking through there in Dubuque. We can see that in Iowa City as well. But those clouds are actually going to help keep those temperatures from bottoming out tonight, so we're only going to be a few degrees below zero. But there's that major winter storm here in the portions of Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Kansas. That stays well south of us, so we're nice and dry. Just an increase in cloud cover here into tonight. Maybe a few flurries from time to time. Wind chills again 10 to 15 degrees below zero, and we're only heading for highs close to 10 tomorrow. As we look at the extended forecast, 10 to 14 day or 8 to 14 day outlook, we'll be near or just above average as far as precipitation goes. But notice, yes, warmer temperatures are on the way, and we can see that very evident on the next 7. We'll have temperatures in the teens here both tomorrow and Thursday, back to the 20s on Friday, 30s on Saturday, and then Sunday and Monday. Check that out. Low to upper 40s. So that 47 degrees on Monday, that is going to feel more than 70 degrees warmer than what it felt like this morning when you factor in the wind chill and all that stuff. So
yeah,
we can look forward to that, Morgan. That's for sure.
Oh my gosh, that's what I intend to focus on.
Yes.
Is when I see a 4.
Yes.
As the first number.
Yeah, and on the plus side, right?
Yeah, on the plus side.
Yeah, if we could just focus on that 47, we'll get through these next couple of days.
We can do it.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Still to come on QCL, details on a workshop series at the Butterworth Education Center showing homeowners how to improve their property maintenance skills.
You're watching Quad Cities Live.
If you are having issues with your kitchen sink, whether it's a leaky faucet or maybe a pipe that needs replacing, you can save time and money by making those repairs yourself. Now, if you don't know how, the Handy at Home Workshop Series can help you out with that. Jan Stouffer is here representing the Butterworth Center and Deer Wyman House. Jan, welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely. I think this series is so great. You guys have held one of your workshops already and went over pretty well.
It did. We had a great time learning how to repair holes in our walls.
Well, you know what? That is something that a lot of people really need to figure out how to do. Cracks in the walls, holes in the walls, things like that, using a putty knife. So I think, right? I don't know.
It was. That's exactly right.
Gal, who are we kidding? So talk a little bit about this series and how it came to be, why it's something that you guys really wanted to be a part of.
So the Butterworth Center and Deer Wyman House is partnering with the Moline Community Development Corporation in hosting this series. And what we have learned is that some of these home maintenance skills are not being passed down from one generation to the next. I mean, my dad didn't tell me.
Right.
He expected me to marry a handyman.
Right. You can see Jan's face. That's funny.
So there's a lot of us out in the community who could really use some help with some basic skill sets. And we offered this series last year, discovered that I wasn't alone in the world, and decided to go ahead and offer it again this year. So.
Yeah. Yeah, that's you're so right, and I think that is like the most interesting part of this. When I was first reading about the series, is that stuff doesn't get passed down anymore as frequently. I mean, I'm sure there are still some stories out there and some folks that get to learn a thing or two, but you know, every time my mom visits, she has to show me once again how to just hang a framed portrait or something.
Well,
you know?
and I also think we're busy. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm finding it a challenge to teach my kids how to be handy at home.
Yeah. Okay, so ultimately, talk a little bit more about what we are going to end up learning at these workshops. We learned how to patch holes last week, but there are really a variety of things.
Right. Next week, we are focusing on kitchen plumbing.
Yes.
We did whole house plumbing last year, discovered that's
a lot. Too much, yeah.
Right. So we decided to split it up. And so this session next week will be about kitchen plumbing. And then we'll do one on energy efficiency, another one on bathroom plumbing. We'll do some electrical workshops, and we'll just general home improvement.
General home improvement stuff. And we're obviously seeing some photos, I'm assuming, of the last workshop because they're using that putty that we were talking about. So when it comes to kitchen plumbing, how extensive are we talking here?
This is very simple.
Okay.
Very basic. We want this to be completely accessible by every participant there. So let's say you have a leaky faucet.
Yeah.
Where do you start? How do you diagnose the problem? How do you figure out how to address the problem? And when do you stop working on it and hire a contractor? And that's an important step. Understanding how to talk to a contractor, understanding the parts of the plumbing system so that you can have a competent, educated conversation with a contractor. And or maybe you're able to just wrap it up and do it all yourself.
I think that's huge, and I like that you've pointed that out because that's something that we talked about last time you were on the show, is knowing when to call in the actual professional, the actual expert. You know, these workshops are going to teach you that and how to talk about it, because I don't know how many times I've been apprehensive about calling because I have a problem and going, I'm just going to sit on this problem and wait for it because I don't really know how to even describe what I'm dealing with or whether or not it's really an issue at all. It can be confusing for a lot of people, so that is really beneficial. Of course, we just saw some photos, but describe kind of the workshop setting, and you guys have some really amazing instructors as well.
We do. We're working with Eric Vandermersch and Ted Brown. They bring in hands-on tools, materials, supplies. So our participants not only get a breakdown of what a system looks like and how it works in their home, but then when they start talking about the problems, they have an opportunity to, in this instance, look at a faucet from every angle, not just mounted, so they can get a better 3D approach at how to solve the problem. We'll have a sink. Folks can climb in and under without being encumbered by cabinetry or cupboards.
Cleaning products.
Right, whatever happens to be down there.
Yeah, okay, very cool. And in addition to the hands-on experience that you will get at the workshop, there's something really cool that you try to incorporate, which is learning more about some of the restoration going on at the Dear Wyman House. So it was similar for the last workshop, and that's going to happen once again for this workshop.
It will. In this instance, we're going to go into the basement of the Dear Wyman Education Center. Maybe not as pretty as our mansions are, but it tells a story. We had an excess amount of plumbing lines down there, and we edited those down. And I wanted to show people some of the steps that we're taking to be more efficient, a little cleaner, a bit tidier with our lines so that our staff knows how to maintain them better.
Yeah.
And then those lessons can then be transferred to a homeowner.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's wonderful to be able to learn about those things and also get to take those little behind-the-scenes tours, because I think too it makes people really interested as well in the Dear Wyman House and the Butterworth Center and everything that you guys have going on there. So again, February 24th is Plumbing Perfections, which is the kitchen. If you want to register for any upcoming handy-at-home workshops, you can call the number that you see there at the bottom of your screen, or you can visit the website molinecdc.org. Jan, thank you so much once again for being here, and we'll look forward to having you back to talk about the next one.
Sounds good.
Absolutely. Coming up, if these frigid temps have you ready to say goodbye to winter, Great River Brewery wants to celebrate that. We're getting details on a festival this Friday marking the end of winter and the arrival of spring. That's next.
You're watching Quad Cities Live.
This winter weather has many of us ready to say hello to spring, and that is exactly what's happening this Friday at Great River Brewery in downtown Davenport. Joining us with more on this fun festival is Scott Florence. Scott, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. I know we've had you on the show technically in the past, but it was at Great River Brewery.
Yes, it's a little chilly today.
For your grand opening.
Yeah.
A little chilly today, but we appreciate you coming out. So talk to us about it. Talk to us about Great River Brewery. They're in Motor Row in downtown Davenport.
Yes,
Very
absolutely.
exciting.
So yeah, we've been doing a lot all winter to keep the Quad Cities entertained.
Yes, you have.
Not only with our beer selection, our food, but trivia nights, anything that will bring somebody to downtown and entertain them, that's what we've been up to. So.
Well, it really is a great space. You guys will be celebrating 1 year since your grand opening this summer in June, I believe.
June 7th.
June 7th, perfect.
That's my wife's birthday, just so everyone knows.
That you cannot forget. You will never forget. So it really is a cool space, a beautiful space. I mean, it's always been a favorite, even before you took over and reopened it. It's a great spot in downtown Davenport. But kind of describe it for us and how your vision has really come together, because it really is a cool spot to be in, and it allows for a lot of people to be there at once.
Yeah, that last part is what was important.
Yeah.
From before, we flipped the playbook a little bit, and there's less. The brewing area is smaller, and the dining area is much larger. So we've been able to accommodate larger groups, lots of groups, more occasions versus just our tappings and other events. But we've had wedding rehearsal dinners there, and some other fundraisers, and people will rent out the entire brewery. As a matter of fact, that's coming up pretty soon too.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, you do have some really fun private events there, and of course all the ones that you throw as well, the trivia nights and things like that. But talk to me about the beers. You brought some to display here today. Your menu is quite extensive actually when it comes to the beers.
Yeah, so part of when we're looking at the canned beers here is it's almost like the culmination of a lot of different moving parts to get. For example, this one was at a tapping, so we're gonna have the label and the beer and the can all put together in time for the tapping, so that you could actually.
There's a lot of moving parts.
And then a sign.
Yeah.
So some of that is just very mechanical in how we're doing things, but the beer itself, I never really worried about it because the brewmaster Paul has been doing. He's
great.
He's the longest lived. I don't want to say the oldest brewer in the state of Iowa, and so he's got a lot of depth and a lot of subtlety to his approach to beer, and even this particular one we're releasing on Friday. Yes,
so absolutely. We've been teasing this for the entire show. This Friday you are hosting a really fun festival. It marks a German tradition, actually. I Googled it. So tell us about it, because we're saying sayonara to winter.
Yes.
We don't care what temperature it is outside. We're saying bye.
It's going to be so much warmer on Friday.
Yes.
I think it's going to be 20s.
Yeah.
I mean, my gosh.
Heat wave.
Yeah, so this particular beer, it's a Bock beer, and it was brewed. I'll share a little bit of the geek trivia on this.
Let's do it.
It was for our beer nerds out there. It was brewed in the fall, and it was tapped in the spring, right towards the end of winter, along with a Fasching or Fasching, I don't know how they pronounce it, but it's the pre-Lenten period in the
brewing
the Catholic parts of Germany.
Oh.
In France, you'd have Mardi Gras.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
And
I'm starting
Germany,
to get it.
In the southern parts of Germany, where it was more Catholic, you had this particular pre-Lenten area. And this beer was released, and in this time of the season, it was a little fanatical, let's just say. Maybe not quite French, but it was, this is time to let it all out and try different things. And this particular festival is honoring that tradition of this particular beer, which is a Bock.
A Bock, okay. And what's the festival called? Bock?
This is called Bock because it's a double Bock.
Okay.
Which means it's stronger, has a little more alcohol in it.
Okay.
And then our brewer, Paul, is clever, and he comes up with these names like Bock to denote
And then
the
he makes
double
me
Bach.
say it on TV.
Yes,
Bach, Bach.
and there are pictures of rams on there. And what does that have to do with anything?
You know what? Party on, Paul. So tell us what we can expect at this really fun festival. You're going to want to dress warm because we're going to want to be outside, but there will be heaters, there will be fire pit going and things like that.
So the interesting part of this particular festival is that this beer, and this may be more of a new German thing in America, but this beer is then plunged with a very hot iron that will be heated up in a fire, and you will get your beer of this particular Bach, and we will douse the piping red hot iron in your beer, which then caramelizes it.
Oh,
and provides
I've seen this.
Yeah, this really beautiful burnt marshmallow caramel flavor.
Okay, great.
So that'll be the action on Friday.
Well, perfect. That'll be the action. We have only a minute left with you, so I also want to tell people that there's going to be limited edition mugs that you can purchase.
There are only like 10 more.
At this event, so that'll be really fun. You guys are having Taylor Swift trivia later in the evening.
It'll be a different crowd.
It'll be a different crowd, but let's, you know what, let's have a party together.
Yep.
And one thing that we just learned as well is that Kyle will be live for us ahead of this celebration on our show on Friday. So he'll be out there with you, kind of previewing everything.
We will demonstrate the beer branding right then.
Wonderful. Great River Brewery's Bach Bach Fest is this Friday, February 21st at 5 p.m. Again, remember to dress warm. And for a look at any upcoming events at the brewery, from trivia to beer releases, just follow along on Facebook. Scott, as always, thank you for joining us
Thanks
today.
for having us.
Thank you so much. And thank you for watching. Your local news at 4 is up next.